Welcome to the Florida Real Estate and Entrepreneur Podcast, where we interview the best and the brightest business and real estate leaders. Our mission is to inspire and help 1,000 entrepreneurs to start and succeed in real estate and entrepreneurship. We will give you the exact playbook to succeed in your business through the experience of those who blaze the path. We're bringing the what's working today directly to you. Let's get started. Welcome back to the Florida Real Estate and Entrepreneur Podcast. I've got Hannah Whorton with me today. Real treat, tons of really unique experience in the real estate industry. You're going to love this. Hannah, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Adam.
You are so very welcome. So Hannah works with ezREIclosings, which is the biggest transaction coordination company in the country for real estate investors. They help you get sticky, hard deals closed and make more money. Hannah, you obviously didn't start there. What is your origin story? How did you find a bunch of crazy entrepreneurs like us, and how'd you get involved?
That's a great question. I ask myself that every day, but I got into real estate pretty unconventionally. Like a lot of people, I wasn't planning on it at all. But back in 2021, during COVID, I was helping my parents manage their Airbnb properties, and I was working with a local wholesaler on some of his house flips, really just kind of figuring out what I wanted to do. And at the time, I was working in sales with a water filtration company, pretty much spinning my wheels, not going anywhere, not anywhere for me to grow, and feeling burned out. So one summer, I put my ad on Indeed and went on a family vacation and sat back and was like, I'm going to look at this when I get home. We'll see what happens. And while I was on that trip, I was talking to my older brother, David, and also my boss's name is David, but we were talking about careers and what it means to feel gratified in the work that you do, because I majored in business management. There's a bajillion businesses out there that I could go into, right? I didn't know which one I wanted to go into. So he recommended this book to me called So Good They Can't Ignore You by Cal Newport. And the whole premise of the book discusses why building skills in the workplace trumps following passion when you're on the quest for work that you love and work that you enjoy. So I read that book and it really just kind of changed the game for me. I get back from this vacation. I have a message from David Olds on Indeed asking me to come and work in sales as his dispositions manager. David is a huge real estate entrepreneur, guru, coach, and I knew I had to say yes. I was kind of freaking out because I knew nothing about real estate.
Did you know who David was at the time?
I had heard of him, the wholesaler here in town that I had done a couple of, projects with, had worked with him, and he told me, you have to take that job. But I had no idea what I was doing. I had no backup plan. I went into it and was like, I have to figure this out. I have to learn everything about this industry that I possibly can. I have no room for failure. And so that's basically what I did. So I started with David's wholesaling company, worked with him for a few months, and we saw this gap in the industry where investors needed this additional support through their closing, right? You can buy the deal and you can sell the deal, but it doesn't mean anything if you can't close the deal. So he opened ezREIclosings, and I am one of the founding members of that company. Worked as a transactions coordinator with them for quite a while, built a lot of the systems and operations, training, things like that. And then currently I am working as their client success manager. So I head up customer support, client development, consulting. Basically, it's my job to make sure investors have support and everything that they do so that they can focus more on the income producing activities for their companies.
Yeah, that's incredible. Well, first off, what's really cool about this is I'm always in these rooms, or, people listen to this podcast, like they themselves are the entrepreneur, or they want to be. They think they want to be. Heavy lies the crown is what they soon find out. But there's this cool concept of being an intrapreneur, is building your business, your brand inside of somebody else's who's already kind of led the way. It seems like that's what you've been able to do with David. Like, why wait 20 years, which it took David 20 years to build what he has? Like, let's just get in there with David Olds and ride that. I'm with you.
I definitely am so very blessed to be surrounded by people that not only are great at what they do, but they support my development professionally and personally. They encourage me to build my own brand within their company, to advocate for myself and what I want. They've supported me in the endeavor of becoming a landlord. I did that this year so far. So it's opened up a lot of doors for me.
Wait, so you got your first rental property this year?
I did, a duplex.
Can we talk about that? Where's it at?
We can totally talk about it because there's a whole story there. It is in Chattanooga, Tennessee, which is where I'm located. And I was not looking for a duplex at all. I was at a real estate meetup back in December and was sitting in the back with one of my coworkers, just scrolling on Zillow. And she leaned over and was like, "Are you looking for a duplex?" I said, "No, I'm not looking." She said, "Well, let me introduce you to somebody." And she introduced me to an agent. And the first thing I said to him was, "Do you have any duplexes for sale?" And he said, "Actually, I do." And we went under contract 2 days later, I believe, and ended up falling out of contract for that house because of the inspection report. And immediately, 2 days later, he sent me another one. Went and looked at it that afternoon, made an offer that night, and it got accepted the next day. And truthfully, this duplex is in a neighborhood of other duplexes. So if anybody who owns multifamilies knows, if there's another door on the same street, you want to buy it because it's just easier to manage multiple properties in the same area. Come to find out after they accepted my offer, they had lots of other offers that far exceeded mine. And I'm a big believer in putting it out there in the universe. I spent a lot of time in prayer. Hey, universe, God, if I'm supposed to have this house, they will accept this offer. If I'm not, I'm going to walk away. I wasn't even looking in the first place. And everything lined up. My younger brother also was looking for housing at the same time. So I was able to put him in one side of the duplex.
Is he renting? You got him paying rent?
He's paying rent and everything. Yeah.
Now, are you willing to kick him out if he does not pay?
Oh, yeah. We've been through a lot together.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. But it was one of those situations where I wasn't expecting anything. And I think that's kind of a testament to growth as an entrepreneur, as you called it. You have to be putting in the work, but you also have to let preparation meet opportunity. That's luck. And I was preparing. I've been preparing for the last 4 years of my life. And I just needed to keep my eyes open for the right opportunity and trust that things were going to fall into place.
Now, let me ask you this question, because that's really cool that you bought a duplex. You're a landlord. You're a real estate investor. Let's go. Do you think you would have got that duplex if you had not kind of ventured into being a disposition manager and then getting into transaction coordination, and then obviously the behemoth that you guys have grown with ezREIclosing? Like, do you think this would have happened?
I am not a creature that gravitates towards change, and the idea of learning something new terrified me. Now, the idea of learning something new satisfies my anxiety because knowledge makes me feel more in control, right? Yeah. But at the time...
Do you study personality profiles?
For myself, maybe my closest friends, they don't need to know that.
Okay.
No.
Well, actually, we're big on culture index, predictive index, like using personality profiles to make sure the right people are in the right seats. When I think of a transaction coordinator and somebody who's going to take something from A to Z in a methodical, organized, detail-oriented way, it is you. Like, I don't want change. I want it to go A, B, C, D, E, and F. Do not disrupt my flow. Makes perfect sense.
Yes, you have to be adaptable still, because there's no black and white way to do real estate. But you're absolutely correct. And you hit on the nail on the head really, really clearly. For a lot of investors, you need people like transactions coordinators in your corner because their brains are different than yours. We are paper pushers. I dream about Kanbans and contract law. I don't think about sales scripts. There are things that we are each individually good at, and we should be capitalizing on those with each other rather than viewing them as threats. So you're absolutely correct.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. I'm sorry. I got way off topic. You got me excited that you became a real estate investor, and I'm all pumped up for you over here.
Oh, thanks, man. I'm lucky.
Yeah, this is super cool. Now, so you do dispositions. What do you learn there? Like that's new. Like that's got to be like, what the hell? Dispositions? What is? Am I an agent? What does this mean?
Oh yeah, when I was working in dispositions. Yeah. So doing the disposition, I was working with David Olds and his nationwide wholesaling company, which is really just a crash course in real estate. When you're working with somebody on the nationwide scale, how do you move deals? How do you negotiate with buyers? Getting on the phone with somebody who owns 800 properties, they don't want to talk to me about how old the roof is. They want to know what their return on investment is. My conversations had to shift. My confidence had to shift. But yeah, the disposition of the deal is essentially selling the deal to the end buyer and making sure that you as an investor get paid. Jumping into real estate, obviously you said you worked with the wholesaler before that, but going from that to like being on David's team, nationwide, much bigger volume, lots of big time investors, and your dispositions. Like the thing about dispositions is the minute you're on the phone with somebody, you're in a negotiation. Right. Immediately. So you immediately. So it's like game time. You're there to win. And that's, and in order to do that, you do have to be confident. You do have to know your numbers. You do have to know the property. You do have to know all the nuance on the county record. And yeah, I know it says 3-2 and county says 3-2, but this says 2-2 and it's, zone. Like weird stuff happens. And you have to be prepared. Yeah, totally. So like hats off to you. So then you parlay that and they go, oh, actually, you're really good at all these details. Let's make you the transaction coordinator. You do that for a short time. And then you become, basically doing business development, client success at ezREIclosings. Talk to me a little bit about ezREIclosings and the service that they provide. What do they do? Like, why would somebody use ezREIclosings and who is it for? I should probably first start by talking about transactions coordinating and what that is. Well, maybe not. ezREI. Yeah. ezREIclosings is the nation's largest transactions coordinating company. We were built by real estate investors, specifically for real estate investors. We do business in all 50 states, all transaction types, and we have an all in-house team. We also partner with over 600 title partners nationwide, and we own our own title company as well. We're licensed in quite a few states, but it is our job to manage a real estate investor's deal from contract to close to ensure that their interest is protected, that they get paid, that everything happens on time so that they can focus on those income producing activities for their company, like building their sales team and expanding and honing in on their marketing and things like that. That is incredible. Why is that important though? Like, why is that important? Like why, I just got to get the deal and sell the deal. What do you mean? Transaction, is that important? Oh, it's so important. So fun fact about real estate investing, but over 50% of transactions do not make it to the closing table for various reasons, right? Sometimes that's a poor acquisition. Sometimes that's a surprise lien that pops up. But for a good majority of it, it's people don't necessarily understand the work that goes into making sure that things are clear, that people stay communicated with until the deal is done, right? There's typically not real estate agents involved in these off-market real estate transactions. So the importance becomes making sure, hey, you are actually getting paid. You are actually getting paid on time. And for perspective's sake, like let's say, for example, you lose one deal every quarter, right? That's 4 deals a quarter. And let's say, like we're talking about a wholesale deal, for example, say each deal is a $15,000 assignment fee. Well, 4 lost deals at $15,000 is $60,000 a year that you've lost. Let's talk about the cost per contract. What does it take you to generate a lead? It might take $5,000, right? $60,000 divided by $5,000 is 12. So that's 12 new contracts. So if you could save 1 deal per quarter at a $15,000 assignment fee, then you have the ability to go back and get 12 new contracts. Same thing all over again, $180,000. You invest that back in. So this is how investors scale. And we are fast tracked in our knowledge, right? So say an average investor closes 2 real estate transactions a month. Our team closes 40 to 60 transactions a week. And so the average coordinator in my office can close more deals in 1 week than one investor might in a whole year. The knowledge that they have, their adaptability, they know what works in some states and what doesn't work in other states. And they're able to essentially guide the investor to help save deals that they may have otherwise walked away from because of a lack of knowledge, understanding, or support.
That's incredible. We've been around for a long time. We had a transaction coordinator for a while, and then I just bought a title company. So
yes, I'm familiar. Titan Title.
You got it.
Yes, sir.
You got it. So yeah, just because, you know why though? It's because it's that important, because your deals need to close. And in order for your deals to close, you need people to be paying attention. You need people to care about them as much as you do. And there's nuance, how you communicate with people, as you well know, like what's going on with the seller and how you communicate with the seller. What does the buyer need? Is this buyer doing weird stuff? Do they have some weird local hard money lender that wants us to put an umbrella on and wear a raincoat when we go? Like, I don't know. They just like
I had a lady one time where we had to do an airship affidavit for a property that she inherited, and she would not fill it out. She would not print it out. She wanted to do it over the phone with me and then have me email it to her. And so I did it. And I think I redid this airship affidavit 10 or 12 times. There was one point she called me and she was like, I don't like that you wrote it in a pink ink. You need to rewrite it in green ink. Like, I'm not even joking you. I had to redo this thing. So like, that's time consuming. Like, that's not, investors, entrepreneurs shouldn't be spending their time, going in circles over that stuff.
Out getting more deals, not dealing with transactions. Just use ezREIclosing for your transactions. And I think I closed a deal with Megan today, your title person.
Oh yeah, Megan.
Well, you guys probably don't know, in order to close that deal, I had to buy somebody a Mercedes.
Wait. I would like to know this story.
Well, the person said, I don't want to close the deal unless you pay off my car. And we said, okay, because it was a good deal. So it's like that. It's those unique situations that can be easily solved, that if you don't have the right people who've seen all of the things, like you guys at ezREIclosings, is the reason people are only closing 50% of their deals. We have a lifetime average of over a 75% close rate.
That's amazing.
Over the last decade. But that is because we've invested in people like you and ezREIclosings to make sure that our deals get across the finish line. And obviously, I bet you could tell me this answer. Maybe you have a general idea of 50% of deals don't close. We're talking particularly assignments and wholesale deals. Probably because people don't negotiate them correctly and they're coming in too high.
Well, that's when they need people like you, right? I can only coach so much, but we can tell you where things went wrong.
Yep. So that's like the first problem for people to solve. Like, negotiate a good deal, know what you're doing, get your numbers dialed in. But the other big problem is all resident in transactions. Like, it's the lien that comes up. And oh, by the way, a lot of these problems are actually solvable. I tell our team all the time, I hate the word no. Like, I do not like the word no. Like, we don't say no, we say, how can we?
That is the narrative everybody needs to have in their head all the time. You will figure it out. Just because somebody said no doesn't mean there's not another way. I worked on a deal in Texas a few years ago where a notice popped up that somebody had filed from 6 years prior. And the underwriter came back to me and was like, hey, we need this released. I tried to get it released, tried to call the guy, and finally went back to the underwriter. I was like, look, there's a statute of 5 years on this in the state of Texas. Like, I'm going to need you to go back and double check. And they're like, hey, you're actually right. We'll insure over it. I was like, yeah, you will. Yeah. And so, they had ultimately told me no in the beginning, but by educating myself and digging deeper and asking questions, not the same question, but other versions of the same question, we were able to get the solution without doing any more work.
For sure. And I bet when you take I bet you have more than one underwriter. And I bet when you take a file to an underwriter and they're like, I don't know, we're not going to do it. I bet you guys are able to take that file to the other underwriter and go, hey, I think we can do it this way. Will you insure this? And they go, yes.
Exactly. And, it's a whole other language too. I think about when I first started in real estate, I barely knew what an assignment of contract was. And now we're talking about monuments of title and affidavits of heirship, a CCR. Like, people don't even know what these terms mean. Like, I have a whole dictionary in my training manual that's like, here's 47 pages of different terms you're going to hear that you don't know. Like, there's that to be said for the whole process too, is not only having somebody there to close the deal, but having somebody who understands the narrative that's at play.
Do you guys help agents with transaction coordination at all?
It depends. We do some deals where agents are involved, but we don't particularly work for agents as clients. We have a couple of clients that are agents, but most of them are using us for their wholesale deals, primarily because you don't want us negotiating your deal. And a lot of real estate agents, transactions coordinators are often licensed to be able to assist with some of those things for them. So we don't necessarily, we do all of the same things that a transactions coordinator for a realtor would do, but not always at the same level that the realtor would want them done. So we more work hand in hand with realtors than for them.
So your best client, your right fit. So if somebody's listening to this, if they're a wholesaler, they come work with you because you're gonna make them more money by helping them get more of their deals closed. And by the way, if you're listening to this and you're a wholesaler, I guarantee you have canceled contracts in the last 12 months. Imagine if you closed like 2 or 3 more of those contracts. Like that, I mean, that's a difference between being profitable and not profitable in business sometimes. So it's really interesting, but it costs money to work with you guys, I assume. What does that look like?
We do. I actually have some exciting news in that regard for you guys. But so previously, ezREIclosings, or in the most recent years, we've operated on a subscription-based model. So we offer different tiered packages, like a monthly fee based on the volume of transactions that the investor is doing each month. And that's worked really well for us because it's allowed us to build long-term relationships with people and scale with them. The idea of just doing one here or there doesn't necessarily mean someone is tied and dedicated to the growth. And that's just as important. But actually, as of this week, we have unveiled a brand new opportunity with us where we are now also offering one-off transactions where investors can come and do one transaction with us, get a feel for our services, and really, open the door for us to be this has opened the door to allow us to serve all levels of investors, people who have never done a deal and people who are doing 100 deals a year. And in addition to that, it's allowed us to expand some of our service offerings. So we're basically trying to be as invested in our clients as they are in us. So
wow,
different models for different types of investors.
Yeah. So if you're just like kind of getting started, now you've got a little a la carte for them. Yes. So that they don't listen. The most important thing, if you're just getting started, you're like, I'm in wholesale deals. The only thing you should be focused on is getting deals, selling deals. You should not be focused on transaction coordination. You can hand this off to ezREIclosings, let them take care of all of the middle, all of the pain. And oh, by the way, it's like a hidden benefit that you're getting coaching at no additional cost from experienced people who've closed literally 4,000 deals a year. It's just like a no-brainer to me. It's insane. It's a no-brainer to me. The other cool thing, and I learned this from David actually years ago, you guys at ezREIclosing, was if you do a retail transaction, agents put in a transaction coordination fee. So I did this. David made me $50,000. Okay. He said, Adam, put in a transaction coordination fee to pay for your transaction coordination. So I did. I said, hey, add $400 as a transaction coordination fee to our contract. And of all the hundreds and hundreds of deals we closed, only one person ever asked for us to take it off, and we took it off for him. No questions asked. And other than that, we just added $400 to our profit. It was insane. I'm like, oh my gosh, David Old's genius. Love you, man.
Yeah, turning your transactions into a profit center. Man, I've got clients that are charging $995 admin fees on every deal to their buyers. They're sitting there making an extra $20,000 a year on nothing.
So if you look at, well, I don't have, the money to pay for transaction coordination. Well, you do. You just add the fee to your file. And then when they close it, that fee goes to them. And it's like you're getting it for free. It's like insane. It's insane.
It's free. Yeah. We are by far the cheapest and the most experienced transactions coordinating company. And not only that, we believe in extreme transparency and communication. So all of our clients have access to our exclusive deal portal where they can watch all of their deals be tracked in real time, and they can see every single note on the file that we make on their behalf. So all those email threads that you were previously in trying to track your deal with the title company, you don't even have to do that anymore. Everything's all in one place. You wake up at 3 a.m. having a nightmare about your deal closing. Everything you need to know is right there in the file. And from experience, I worked on one, last year that took a year to close. And I copied and pasted my notes out of that file into like a Google document. And it was like 28 pages long, 28 pages of notes. Like, yeah. So lots and lots of space
hours
there.
And days and weeks of time that somebody would have spent doing that instead of getting their next deal or getting their deal closed and wasting so much time and money. Yeah, I think you guys are a no-brainer. I genuinely do. I think what you do particularly for the wholesale industry for assignments of contract is like, it's just a no-brainer. It's like a piece of your business because the alternative is you're doing it yourself, which means you're losing money, or you're hiring somebody, which is a whole nother beast and animal, especially if you're a smaller operation doing 1 to 3 deals a month. Like you're just not big enough for that. Number one. Number two, even if you start to get big enough, you start doing 5, 10 deals a month, you're adding more complexity to a system. And I'll tell you this for absolute fact is complexity does not scale. So you want to grow your business, get rid of the things that don't make you money immediately and turn them into things that do make you money. Get with the ezREIclosings, let them help you.
I mean, it's a testament to us as individuals too, right? If we're going to grow in our self-development, we have to surround ourselves with people that are better than us and smarter than us. And it's the same thing in our professional industries as well. Figure out what you are good at in your industry. Is it talking to sellers? Is it talking to buyers? Is it being a visionary? Sometimes you're just the visionary. You have to be capable of putting people in positions and letting them do their jobs better than you and being okay with that.
Yeah, I think that's the big one. I tell most newer investors the first person you need is a detail-oriented assistant. I don't care if it's a VA or somebody stateside. You need somebody who's different than you, which is usually for entrepreneurs, that's usually somebody who has the ability to follow through details, organize. Like the entrepreneurs are all over the place.
Maybe a little.
I guarantee David is probably running circles in your guys' office right now. He's got 70 ideas going on. We should do this. We should do this. Like he needs you guys.
Oh, he's such a visionary, but he's also inspired me to do the same. He's like, it's not that serious, because it's not. It's just do your best and be supportive of each other and support yourself. And yeah, there's a lot we could talk about there, but yeah.
No, it's so cool.
There's always a new business endeavor.
I know it, David. He's getting after it. Well, this is really cool. I'm so grateful that you spent time coming on with us today. I'll put a link for sure in the show notes to you guys, but if people want to find you, where do they find you guys?
They can find us at ezREIclosings.com. Feel free to also check out myself or David Olds on Facebook. We are on Facebook as well. You can message us there. We will respond. And all of our plans are on our page. You can book a call with one of our business development managers if you're interested in hearing more about our service offerings specific to you and your business through the website.
Cool, Hannah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you too, Adam. It's been a pleasure.
All right. If you got something from this podcast, leave us a 5-star review, please. If you're not going to leave a 5-star review, it's going to be less. Then just don't leave one. I'm kidding. Okay. Yeah. Just leave us a 5-star review, like, subscribe. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.